All right, everybody, welcome in Season 3, Episode 12 of the Swish List Podcast. What a great week to cover the NBA. We have a lot to talk about, starting with, did LeBron James play in a soft era? If so, what do we do with Kobe Bryant? How do you feel about Bron's no call on social media that he posted versus Jalen Brown just flat out calling out the referees, the Trey Young trade? Do we think we're going to see small guards in the future of the NBA? We've got trade rumors, who we want in the dunk contest. What do we do with Scotty Barnes? Start, bench, cut. There's a lot for us to discuss, and I promise you there is a whole lot in between of what I just mentioned, but we need to start this pod by talking about LeBron James. There's something I just really don't understand. How did LeBron play in a soft era when he spent 7 years playing in the 2000s and 13 of his NBA seasons overlap with Kobe Bryant? If Kobe Bryant played in this elite era of basketball, how did LeBron James all of a sudden not play in an elite era of basketball? Because he played against prime Ron Artest. He played against Tony Allen. He played against Kobe Bryant. He played against Tim Duncan. He played against KG. I'm just struggling to understand why we discredit LeBron specifically in his era when the other players that played at the exact same time he did get all the praise.
It's because LeBron has just played for so long. I feel like the conversation of the changing of the gauntlet up to the soft era begins with, LeBron switching teams, going to the Heat, that type of thing. You start to see your super teams and games are getting called different ways. Players are manipulating offenses and you see these flop calls and all that kind of stuff. But you said it. I mean, LeBron is playing in the early 2000s. Like, this is Tim Duncan winning MVPs. This is Kevin Garnett winning MVPs. Dirk gets an MVP here. Kobe gets his MVP here. But Bron was still averaging 20. Bron has a scoring championship in the mid 2000s. Like, people want to talk about he played in a soft era, but he played in the 2000s. He played in the 2000s. He played in the early 2010s. Was dominant throughout these times too. It's just such an interesting take to be like he played in the soft era because he didn't play in the 90s. When he was drafted in 2003, he only missed it by 3 years.
Well, not only that, if people are like, well, he didn't win a title in the 2000s. MJ didn't win in the 80s. Kobe didn't win in the 90s. It was the next era when they started winning titles. It's the same thing with LeBron. He started winning titles in that next decade, just like MJ and just like Kobe. So that's why I just don't understand the hate. I don't think this is really an argument. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I'd lean it more towards our old heads and just giving the praise to their golden era. And Michael Jordan can never be touched. LeBron James can never be Michael Jordan, no matter how good he is, no matter how dominant of a player he ever is. He'll never touch Michael Jordan. It makes me think of, KG was playing at this time, and I think of dominant teams then. KG played against the 95-96 Bulls, who had a 72-10 record, and he also played against the 2015-2016 Warriors, who had a 73-9 record. I want to know which team he thinks is better. This is a good way to compare were the eras different. KG, can we get an answer?
Knowing KG, I feel like he's going to say Michael Jordan, just because I remember the clips where he was trash talking MJ. And then MJ just started cooking the Timberwolves. So I feel like he's going to lean that way. But it is true. You go look at the guys that played against both teams. They saw both teams. Those are the guys we need to be asking.
And shout out to KG for playing both teams. That is a 20-year difference. And he played against both for the same team after getting moved around for his career. But he was back on the Timberwolves. So that's just a really cool thing for KG.
And when he played against MJ, he was putting up high teens and some solid rebounds. And
he had a game of 20. He had a game of, I think it was 18 and 16 boards. So the dude was putting in his numbers, no doubt.
And then when he played the Warriors, I think he had 0 points to 39 and 5 boards. Listen, LeBron James posted on social media a picture of him getting fouled at the end of the game in the clutch against the Bucks. Obviously, a lot of people wanted to talk about how he missed those shots in the clutch. He had the opportunity to put the Bucks away to win that game, and he didn't do it. He goes out and he posts on social media. Jalen Brown also in the same week, when they played against the Spurs, he had a lot to say directly to the media. He said, I don't care. I'll take the fine in true Anthony Edwards fashion. Roman, how do you feel about both of these takes on the referees? I know we've got zebra comments coming from players, but I want to know, How do you feel about LeBron James posting on social media and Jalen Brown making the comment about the refs to the media?
I just don't understand it from Braun. I mean, Jalen Brown in the moment was angry. During the game, he was visibly angry with what was going on. LeBron didn't complain about getting blocked. Like, Giannis blocked the shot. He may have gotten fouled, but we remember what happened with the Celtics a few years ago when Jason Tatum fouled him and he had the biggest freak out I've ever seen. Yeah, you got fouled, but they didn't call it. Move on. You're going to overtime. Yeah, there's still a game going. But even with that one, he didn't turn around to the refs. He got blocked, turned around, and was like, "Hey, where's the ball at?" But back to your main point of the going to social media. It's like, we know who LeBron is, but come on, what's the point in that? Yeah, I think the comparison to Jalen Brown saying it to the media, like criticizing the refs for the missed call. If you're trying to make a statement, that's the right way to do it. It's the correct way to get people talking about it, to get your statement out about it. But to just be like, okay, here's the photo. Here's my proof. I don't need to say anything. Everybody's going to post a photo, Bron. Like, you're the person who should be in the media being like, you can't miss a call like that. That should not happen. Put the pressure on the refs to do better. Put the pressure on the NBA to, make a statement saying, here's our 2-minute report. We did miss a foul call there. But instead, it's just, I'm going to post about it and let all of my followers know that I got fouled and it wasn't my fault. It was the ref's fault. It's just so easy.
Yeah, I don't love it. I feel like you got to stand on it in the moment. And then if you post about it, you're just standing on it after the fact. But you can't do nothing, no reaction, and then turn around and post it. I don't really love that from LeBron. Big time trade in the NBA. Trey Young gets traded, goes to Washington. He is now the next era of big name point guards for the Washington Wizards. Roman, how are you feeling about the trade?
The Washington Wizards is the place that players go to die. Whether you're there from the start or you're getting traded there, it is the place that you go to not end your career, but you're not going to be doing anything. You might get an all-star. You might be a John Wall, a Bradley Beal, but nobody's serious about you ever. I feel like it's the perfect place for Trey Young. He's going to make a few all-stars out of Alex Czar and maybe a few others. It's going to be a great fit for the team. Maybe they break the playoffs a few years. We might see a second round from them, but a great fit for the Trey Young type of player. But I don't think this changes the landscape of the Wizards at all. Trey Young, for the most of his career, he's going to be an all-star caliber player. Like, make no mistake, but there's plenty of great players who are on bad teams. And I think a good example of that will be a Trey Young. There's a reason that the Hawks were looking to get rid of him. And he ends up as a Wizard, great at throwing lobs. He's going to get you 11 assists per game, 25 plus a game. But I don't think you can build a championship team around a star point guard of Trey Young.
I do just want to point this out. The Washington Wizards GM, I do believe, is laying a foundation similar to prior teams that have built elite level rosters. Oklahoma City Thunder, the Spurs, even Detroit, those rosters were built on draft picks. They were built on high-end drafting. And I just want to tell you this, right? This is a guy who was able to flip Bradley Beal, CP3, Jordan Poole, a lot of these players, and he ends up with 6 second-round picks, 4 pick swaps, and a projected 2030 first-round pick, while clearing up, I believe it is $16 million in cap space, all while bringing in a former all-star level player to play with the top pick in Alex Sarr that he drafted recently. So from a GM perspective, I get it. We may not see the vision today. And you also probably think that they fleeced the Atlanta Hawks based on the assets that they gave up. But they got all the picks. They freed up a ton of cap space. And there is a legitimate path for a future for the Wizards based on these moves. I don't hate that. Now, I understand who this organization is. And I also don't think that the Hawks necessarily lost the trade either, because they went back to the formula that was winning them games in this season. They're ready for the Jalen Johnson era. He jumps when he goes to dunk the basketball. It looks like he's in a video game, the way that he just takes off. And so I'm excited to see what that era looks like in Atlanta. And I believe there is a path, if they nail these draft picks, for a future with the Wizards.
I like it. I like it from an optimistic standpoint from both sides. Like you said with the Wizards, if a few years of quote unquote tanking is what it's going to be. You have a few bad seasons, but Trey Young is putting up all-star numbers. It might be a perfect situation to just build out a few more picks, good first-round pick over the next 3 years, something like that. And then you have the foundation, like you said, for an OKC type of run in the future. And then for the Hawks, I completely agree. I think this is freeing for them because they had their all-star point guard who wasn't playing, and it was probably a little bit awkward to see all these wins coming through without Trey Young and then all these losses coming back with Trey Young because Trey Young's a great player. Let's make no mistake. Like, he's a good basketball player. Any team would want him with the way that he can create on the offensive end, but it wasn't converting to winning for the Hawks. So I think they were in sort of an awkward space on we're winning without him, but we know Trey Young is good. So I think that now that he's gone, it's sort of freeing for everybody. And Nikhil guarantees his point guard position. Dyson gets more minutes. You get a young guy as well as an experienced guard and CJ McCollum in return. Jalen can just be the free man to do whatever he needs. And they destroyed the Warriors tonight. So high hopes for what the future looks like for him.
A lot of people are talking about with the Trey Young trade that we're looking at the imminent doom of small guards, that 6'3" and below guards are just not going to be relevant in the NBA, right? You've got the last small guards are Steph, Jalen Brunson, Trey Young, Damian Lillard. And so I'm curious, Roman, what do you think the future of the NBA looks like over the next 5-10 years? Is it you see a lot more of this Cade Cunningham prototypical point guard, and you're looking at 6'4", you're looking at 6'5" point guards, and if you're under 6'5", hey, you're playing in Europe? Or do you think there's still going to be a spot for the small guard?
I think there will always be a spot for small guard, but for small guard, it's becoming taller and taller as the years go on. I think before you could get away with a 5'8", 5'9" guard as long as they were skilled enough to make a difference on the court, no matter the mismatch that they got. But as the years go on, it is creeping into you must be 6 foot tall at least to have a role player spot. I can't think of the shortest guy that I can think of in the league that is really dominant is Donovan Mitchell, who's listed as 6'1", 6'2". Like, he is the last of like short guards that really dominate, but he also has a 6'8" wingspan. So what are we talking about there? But in terms of prototype for your starting point guard, starting shooting guard, I 100% agree. If you're under even 6'5" now, it shouldn't be there. Like you said, you still have Steph, Dame, Brunson, Trey Young, Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie, Darius Garland, I think is another mention that should be in there for the short guards. There'll always be a role for them, but I think as the years go on, the biggest role that we're going to see from these players is a Peyton Pritchard type of role where they can explode for a random 40 piece even, but they're just the most consistent offensive player that you see on the court, and they don't make a mistake on the defensive end. They don't miss a spot. They're able to get, 1.5 steals a game no matter what, and they just play their role the correct way because we are shifting to, 6'10" starting lineups and those types of things. So for a prototype, yes, but I think there will always be room for a guard that's around 6 foot tall in the league, just not as a best player in the league.
Tyrese Halliburton, Cade Cunningham, SGA, all of these guys, the list goes on and on. I think 6'3" is the shortest you'll see a point guard in 10 years. I don't think you'll have anybody in the league under 6'3" starting. And if you do, there's maybe one or two guys, and they are absolutely role players. Nobody under 6'3", and I think most teams are looking to draft a 6'5" point guard or taller.
If that's the case, then it really is going to become positionless. Like, we thought the last 5 or 6 years have been positionless basketball. Imagine what it's going to look like 5 to 8 years from now. It's going to be crazy.
I mean, that's the trend, and like these kids are so technically sound. Luka Doncic is another one. So many of these players are they're so good. They can move. They've got a bag. They can run an offense. They facilitate well.
Yeah, the things you're talking about, what even is a point guard to today's NBA? It's not, there's no point guard role. It's just like you have different types of teams in the NBA. You talk about
I think you're wrong on that.
Who? Okay, who's still a true point guard in the NBA?
Okay,
give me examples.
So not a true point guard as a name, but I can give you a team that doesn't have a point guard right now and are paying the price for it, and that's the Houston Rockets. So you do,
but they're winning.
You need a point. They're sliding right now. They're sliding right now.
Yeah, sliding, but you
Sliding in
know
the
they're going to
standings.
be a contender no matter what.
They're sliding in the standings, and I guarantee you, if they had Fred VanVleet, they'd be starting him right now because they need a point guard. When I go look at Phoenix when they had Brad Beal, Devin Booker, and KD, they did not have a point guard to initiate the offense. Now, I'm not saying a point guard has to be a small person. I'm just saying you still need someone that is going to get you into your offense.
Oh, yes, and I agree with that. But that's
Okay.
why I'm saying, like, what is the point guard position anymore? Because Jokic is the point guard. Luka is the point guard.
Okay.
And these guys at their sizes technically are not point guards. Obviously Jokic, but like Luka, he's 6'7". Like he's what, 200 and probably down to about 215, 220 right now. But it's not a point guard. Like from the size standpoint. So I think we really are moving into even more of a positionless basketball. And you have these starting lineups like you're talking about, even in the future. Nobody's going to be under 6'5", what is a 3 guard compared to a 2 guard going to be the 5 years from now? I'm just interested in what the landscape is. Like, is the power forward position just going to go away? Like, what is the landscape of the NBA a few years from now?
I mean,
Because
the
you
power
still do
forward
have
position,
opportunity for. Go ahead.
the power forward is a small forward. Like,
Exactly. Jimmy Butler starts at the 4.
exactly.
Draymond has become a starting center.
The power forward doesn't exist, and that's what's made like comparing these teams. There was someone in the comments that said, "Well, Andre Iguodala was a shooting guard. Why'd you list him as small forward?" And it's like, well, he played small forward the entire time he played in Golden State because literally the era shifted while he was there, and he became a small forward.
Yep. That's a great example. Another one to bring up, unfortunately, LeBron came into the league as a shooting guard, moved to small forward, moved to power forward. He was the point guard for the Lakers at one point. He was the center for the Lakers at one point. So we're just shifting more into that. I remember the 7-foot lineup from the Nuggets in the bubble where you have Jokic at point guard and Miles Plumlee at center. Like, it's just, it really is positionless, and it's going to make for an interesting future.
My hope would be that if the NBA looks like that, we get back to teams with specific play styles. One of the things that kills me is when players talk about, or former players talk about, how everyone's just playing the same brand of basketball. They're all running the same offenses, the same sets. They're getting the same shots. They're all looking for the same analytical shots. And I would love for us to get back to a game where if you played a certain team, it looked completely different than other teams. So on any given night, you were playing a completely different roster, and it made every game interesting. Regardless of record, you could watch interesting basketball because of the matchups that you would get. So my hope would be that if you enter that type of basketball, that it truly does open things up offensively, and you focus more on niche skill set within a roster rather than playing to fit the NBA mold.
I think it will. I'm hoping that we're moving out of the 3-ball or nothing era. I think we sort of are. I know that the 3-point line is still about where it is. Like, I remember a couple years ago, Celtics had taken more 3-pointers than ever before. But I do feel like we are kind of moving into what you're saying, where we're getting more dominant big men in the league and be still here. Even if you want to talk about like the Pistons, like Jalen Durant is going to be a force to reckon with when Cade Cunningham may be having a bad game. Even when Durant was out, and I think Cade Cunningham was out too, Isaiah Stewart had a 30-point game. You still have Jalen Brunson, who dominates in the post as an undersized point guard. SGA taking a lot of mid-range shots. Jalen Brown taking a lot of mid-range shots. So I'm hoping, and I feel like we are kind of moving away from the 3-ball or nothing, and we are going to see a lot more competitive. I'm going to score from the mid-range. I'm going to get to the paint type of basketball.
Okay, I like that. I want to switch gears to start talking about some of these trade rumors that we're seeing right now. Michael Porter Jr. is at the forefront of trade discussions. One of the big destinations that I'm hearing a lot is Golden State. Roman, I'm curious, what are a few teams that you think should go after Michael Porter Jr.? And what do you think of the fit in Golden State?
A guy who can get 25 a game.
25 a
Don't pass
game.
the rock.
25 a
Michael Porter
game
Jr.
at $40 million a year. He's got 2 years left on his deal.
don't really like the Lakers. I don't like the Rockets. I don't like the Spurs. I think the Clippers could be interesting. I know they're looking for some shooting, but that's just bad team to bad team right now. Timberwolves aren't really looking for anybody. Warriors are definitely looking for somebody. If I'm looking in the Eastern Conference at that mid-tier range, Miami Heat, 76ers, I guess. I think they're kind of younger in that small forward position right now. I think 76ers could be good. You would move off of some of your young talent, but you get a good scorer in return who can shoot the hell out of the ball. I'm not mad at a 76ers trade, and they're competing in that middle of the Eastern Conference right now. I truly think Cavs wouldn't do it. They'd have to lose DeAndre Hunter, who's their main guy off of the bench. I guess Bulls are still kind of in the conversation, and Patrick Williams is not a very consistent shooter for them. So maybe in the Eastern Conference, I'm looking at 76ers, Bulls. In the Western Conference, I don't see anybody other than the Warriors, I'll be honest.
If you're Detroit, would you trade Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, and a pick for Michael Porter Jr.?
I like that. I think Tobias Harris makes way too much money for what he does, has been for a long time. I think it works. I think Jaden Ivey still has a lot of high trade value, but he's a young player, and he was injured, and the Pistons were doing good without him. Would kind of suck to move off him because I think he is a crucial piece to them, but you have other pieces. I think maybe Sasser even? Can we look at the contract? Like, you might even just be able to move off of Sasser. Because I think they're both still on rookie deals, are they not?
So Sasser's on a 4-year rookie deal, but it's worth $13 million.
What's Jaden Ivey's? Do you know Ivey's?
Jaden Ivey's on a 4-year, $33 million. He's set to make $10 million this year, and it's his final year. It's his final year of his deal, so it's an expiring contract. You could move him now.
I just feel like that is a big loss. Like Jaden Ivey's good. He's really good.
Hasn't been healthy. Plays a position where you already have a better player. Last 2 seasons has not played very many games.
I know that duo of him and Cade was so good. Like when he was playing, like that, they weren't winning, but like you knew there was potential for those two. And Jaden Ivey was a lottery pick. He's very athletic, very good. Has just had some injuries.
And he loves the city of Detroit. His mom in the WNBA in Detroit. So they've got a lot of Detroit connections.
I would want to keep him, especially with the injury. I think you can get him with the expiring contract a little bit cheaper just because of what we've seen over the past couple seasons. I would hope that you can move off of Sasser. And you can move Sasser, you can move Tobias, whatever small picks you would need to make to get Michael Porter Jr. I like that.
Okay. How do you feel about the fit in Golden State?
Why not? At this point, if you're not going to play Kuminga, do it. Go get another shooter. See what it's all about. Get a guy who's going to put up the shots, because we saw the Buddy Hield experiment. He's not a Klay Thompson. Yes, he's a great shooter, but he's not the shooter Klay Thompson was. If I can think of a player who's catch and shoot, going to chuck up shots that would be great for a Golden State type of basketball, it's definitely Michael Porter Jr.
They'd be going all offense, no defense, Michael Porter Jr., but hey, let's see how it goes.
Might as well. You're not playing Kuminga, and you're not winning games.
No, not at all. Okay, Ja Morant. I'm seeing conflicting reports right now. I'm seeing that Ja Morant is on the trade block. I'm also seeing that Ja Morant himself has not requested a trade. Roman, do you think that Ja gets moved before the trade deadline?
I'm going to say yes. I think he gets moved. And this is all just based off of the video that I saw of him and Jaren Jackson Jr., he's waving him over to come and sit by him like, hey, this could be our last times together. But Ja continues to sit out games. We all know the potential that he has, but is he going to play? We don't know. And I think there's a lot that you could package together for a Ja Morant, because like I said, when he plays, he is amazing. Top guard in the league, no doubt. So if you're looking for a team that would want him right now, I look at the main team that I was looking at is the Bucks. That's the team that I was thinking of. You go get you a point guard to pair with Giannis right now, an electric point guard, because obviously it didn't work out with Dame. Dame got hurt, but I think that would take a lot of, not pressure off of Giannis, but a lot of the offense would go to Ja, and Ja is great. Ja is a great player. So I think a Bucks trade, you would probably have to move off of, what's his name? Kevin Porter Jr., maybe another player and some picks. But I think it's a risk I would be willing to take if I'm the Bucks and I want to win.
If you're Minnesota, would you trade Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo for John Morant?
I don't think so.
Really?
No, I think because then Nas has to move into the starting lineup, and he's just not what Julius Randle is. I think Julius Randle has become so important for that team. Julius Randle is still an all-star level player. Like, he's very good. I think to lose him and DiVincenzo for Ja,
What if
I don't know.
instead of giving up DiVincenzo, you gave up Rob Dillingham? So they still get a young player with some level of potential.
Okay, that's more doable because you would lose so much shooting in DiVincenzo, but you don't lose as much shooting with Rob. And Rob just hasn't. Rob's been good. He still gets minutes, but he's not lottery pick level right now. My thing with Ja's just not a good shooter. And I don't think the Timberwolves depend on it, but I think they like guard shooting a lot. And moving off of Mike Conley has led to some bad things happening. That's why DiVincenzo is taking that starting role. If I'm the Timberwolves, I would not. I know I'm going back on it. I don't think the Timberwolves take that. I'm winning right now because of the lineup we have. I don't think they take that.
Okay, well, we'll keep our eye on the possibility of John Morant getting traded. I'll tell you the one guy who's benefiting the most from Ja being on the trade block, and that's Jaren Jackson Jr. His fall off has been wild to watch. Absolutely wild. And I'll tell you what, if they move Ja, there's going to be a lot of attention on him, and he has not been that good this season. I'd love to see him bounce back and get back to the high quality play that we've seen from him before, but not rebounding the ball, not shooting the ball well from the outside at all, has not been able to deliver. We want to talk about how poorly the Grizzlies are playing, and we want to come out and go after John Morant, but his running mate, Jaren Jackson Jr., has not been good.
Which is crazy because 3 years ago, this was a 2 seed in the West.
Yeah.
And he was winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
It's something that'll probably be studied depending on how he reacts to a Ja move or something like that. But yeah, I think if we're going to criticize anybody who was a star level player, Jaren Jackson Jr. has kind of dropped off.
I want to ask you this, Roman, in your opinion, in today's NBA, the way that these GMs are drafting, the way that the archetype of player that becomes a lottery pick and versus the guys in college that are just certified buckets, is the NBA more about talent or opportunity?
That's a great question. I think it's opportunity. Because if it was just based on talent, I think we don't know who's going to go 1 through 3 in next year's draft, to be honest with you. And if we were just going based off of talent, I think that Darren Peterson would 100% be the number 1 pick. Like, I don't think there would be any doubt that he would be the number 1 pick. But if you're looking at who has the highest potential, it's obviously AJ. And I still think that AJ will probably go number 1 just for the potential that he does have as an NBA player. But I think opportunity, 100%. If you're willing to take the risk, you might end up with the greatest reward, that is a championship. So I think in today's NBA, it's 100% the opportunity compared to the talent.
I look at draft picks like Igor Demin. I look at draft picks like Peyton Watson. Guys that were an NBA archetype player and ended up being these number 1 picks or these first round picks by teams. Not necessarily because they they were just lighting up the stat sheet in college, but they fit the NBA game. There's some people that say that not all of the best players are the players that are in the NBA, but the NBA looks for a very specific play style. And I think that matters. And I think when you come into the league matters. I think if Jimmer Fredette comes into the league 6 years after Steph Curry and Steph Curry is able to be Steph Curry, we're looking at him completely different. If Damian Lillard and Steph Curry are able to do what they do, Jimmer looks like a different player in the league. And if he doesn't go to Sacramento, he looks like a different player in the league. So I think that they draft for archetype, and I think the timing of when you go pro, the team that you land on, all are factors. And so kind of a tough one to answer.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of, we were just talking about the Timberwolves. Like Rob Dillingham was, I mean, so much talent going into it. Had a great college career, just one of the most interesting players to watch throughout high school and college. But as he gets to the NBA, he's still good, but he's having a slower start. So it's like the opportunity was less than what we knew to expect from this type of player. But then we just talked about Memphis. If you want to talk about Cedric Howard, a guy who nobody expected for him to take off like he has in the NBA. I think he averages more points in the NBA than he did in college. And I don't even think he was planning on declaring for the NBA draft, but he was like, let me just go test the waters, and ends up getting drafted. So it's opportunity at this point. I think the GMs know what is going to work in the NBA, like you said. And yeah, the opportunity for a player to grow through your program and become great is there right now.
So speaking of players, Roman, let's talk about some all-star ready players right now in the league.
So we have some players who are on the cusp of becoming an all-star. I think your first year all-stars, there's two players that I want to talk to you about. Do you think that they are going to be an all-star? Both conferences. So Western Conference, Jamal Murray. Is he going to be an all-star this year? I say yes.
Should he be? Yes. Will he be? Let me give you a list of names, and you tell me if he's going to make all-star over these players. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards, Luka, Devin Booker.
Now we're talking.
But do you think he's going to make the all-star game over that player? I don't think so. Steph Curry.
No.
James Harden.
Yes.
You start looking at the fan vote. The fan vote matters here. Fan vote's going to play a
Still
role.
50%, which sucks.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you have to keep the fan vote in mind. So the conversation for me with Jamal Murray is around these types of players. It's around guys like Austin Reeves, Keontae George, Jamal Murray. I know it's positionless, but those are the level of guys that one of these guys is going to make it, and a few of these guys are not going to make it. And
if I have a name out of those three, I'm obviously, this is not a crazy take. I'm going to give it to Jamal. But I think in the West, it's especially hard with guards. But is De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, there's so many guards. Are they going to make it?
They're in that same conversation. They're in that exact same conversation. You have a handful of fringe guys, and Jamal's been on that list longer than any of them to make it. But Keontae George, he's got a social media uprising right now to get him into the All-Star game. Like, he's got Jazz fans are pushing for this guy. So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope he makes it, because I think that he deserves it just for how long he's been on the fringe and what I believe he's going to do through the rest of the month of January. So I hope he makes it.
I think this is the year that Jamal does get the nod, especially with Jokic going out. We've seen the numbers that he put up without him. I'm hoping he gets the nod this year. I don't think there's a player that deserves it more than him. So I'm hoping that he gets the nod this year for All-Star. Staying on the topic, switching to the Eastern Conference, Norman Powell was very close to making it last year. Does he make it this year?
Norman Powell. Okay, so we'll do a similar thing. He's not making it past Cade, Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brown, Maxey. I don't think he's making it past Scotty Barnes. Paolo Banchero makes it before he does. Donovan Mitchell makes it before he does.
See, this is where you get me, because he's putting up numbers similar to these players.
I'm not saying he's not putting up numbers similar. I don't think he's going to have the votes. The fan vote plays a role.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. Like, we're not talking about whether or not it's purely just the quality of or caliber of player. I'm just thinking NBA fans are going to look at a list. They're going to see names they know. They're going to check those boxes. So a bunch of these spots are gone before you even blink.
I think Norman is the type of player that could be a replacement this year. If a player got hurt right before All-Star break, Norman gets the nod. But like you said,
I can see that.
Fan vote plays into it too much that, he's never getting a nod over Jalen Brunson, over John.
But you've got a lot of names. You've got a lot of names that are opening spots for a player like this to be able to take a spot. Like, Is Trey Young going to make it with the trade and how the limited number of games he's played? There's no Halliburton. There's no Tatum. It's more open. There's more opportunity for him to make it this year in the East than there was last year in the West, and that's a fact.
Yeah, that's true. I like that. That's a good point.
All right, Roman, who do you want to see in the dunk contest this year? If you got to pick the players that participate, you get to pick 4 guys. Who are you picking?
I'm still thinking best dunkers in the league. You obviously would want... I want to see Giannis do it. I still think Zach LaVine could still do it, so I'd want to see Zach LaVine give it another go. Bron's too old. Obi Toppin deserves a nod always because he's the person who does between the legs dunks in game. Who else? There's one other guy. Ja's never done it, so I'd like to see Ja do it. Those would be my guys that would do it.
Okay. We'll switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
Build me the best dunk contest with guys who have never done it in today's NBA.
Today's NBA, Ant, Shaedon Sharpe, Giannis, and Ja.
The fact that you didn't have Zion on that list is ridiculous.
Oh, because Zion doesn't play basketball games.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, I'll admit not having him on there, but
what are we doing?
I do. Okay, chill, first of all. The dude doesn't play. Of course I'm not going to name him.
McClung wasn't playing, and he was in it.
Yeah, but that's Mac McClung. Stop it.
I'm just saying.
Stop it.
I'm just saying.
I haven't thought about Zion in years.
Okay.
I still like my list, though. Shaedon Sharpe jumps higher than anybody in the league.
Yeah.
Ant would just love to see him in a dunk contest, see what he would bring out. Giannis, I think for the big man nod, I just want to know what Giannis would do in a dunk competition at his height, and his athleticism would be interesting. And John Morant, I think, is a very unique dunker. I think from Zion, we might only see a 360 windmill every time.
Roman, I'm curious, what do we do with Scotty Barnes? This guy puts up incredible performances all throughout the season, two-way player, high-end player for Toronto, and I feel like nobody talks about him. Nobody pays attention to him. He just goes under the radar. Why?
He is a hustling, down under dirty type of player. Like he's not out there getting your bag work buckets. He's not out there shooting 12 threes. Scotty Barnes he's going to guard the best player on the court. He's going to randomly give you 20 rebounds in a game, and he's going to give you 20 points just dominating inside. I don't think his goal is to be the most entertaining player on the court, but he's going to go out there and do his job. I think that's why they went out there and got a Brandon Ingram on their team. Emmanuel Quickley's there. RJ Barrett's there. But I think his job is just to be the pest that he is on the court, randomly have 15 to 20 rebound games, and to score his 15 to 20 points a game in whatever way he can get it done. But I'll just be honest, he's not the most entertaining basketball player to watch. And he's also a Raptor. Nobody cares about the Raptors right now. Let's be real. Like, they're still doing good in the East. I still think they need a couple more years before they could potentially compete for anything again. And he just happened to be there for the start of the rebuild. So, yeah, I think we're just early on in his career, and he's not the flashy player that some of these guys in the league are.
We'll give KD a shout out for passing Wilt all time in scoring. It's incredible. Good chance that KD's going to find himself in the top 5 spot before it's all said and done. Just want to give him his flowers. He's playing the second most minutes of the league, and when he's off the floor, the Rockets are just not viable as a roster. Delivering at the highest level at 37 years old. Just shout out to Kevin Durant.
Ultimate dominance. We were talking about LeBron's scoring record. If there's somebody in today's NBA who has played consistently every single season besides his one Achilles tear, Kevin Durant, scoring champion multiple times early on in his career, and is still putting up incredible numbers. So to pass Wilt is quite the accomplishment. So shout out to you.
Dennis Schroeder gets suspended 3 games because when he said he was going to go and fight Luka, he meant it. What is that? Dennis?
Well, I like this. I like it. He stood on business. You don't see this too much. You see guys, talk and all that kind of stuff. But with Dennis, he backed it up. And you know why he backed it up? they say there was a stunned Luka when he saw Dennis. I don't think Luka realized Dennis knows those buildings. He knows that building. Dennis played there.
He can get around.
He probably talked to his security guards, told him, I'm just going to talk to the players. I just want to see him. Luka was trying to get to his car, and Dennis was there. I could only imagine the stunned Luka when he was like, oh, Dennis is here? And then the report is that DeAndre Ayton dragged him away, got him away from him. I just love to think of a stunned Luka as Dennis is like, yeah, I'm here. Say it again now. Now that the cameras aren't here, what you got for me? There's got to be some footage somewhere.
This reminds me of the police presence from the Clippers.
What's up, fucking? The police presence.
Chris Paul come beat me up.
That is a hilarious video. That was so funny. You said a police presence?
LAPD was called. That's all time. That's all time. And in true all-time fashion, Anthony Davis out again with another injury. If there's three constants in basketball, it's death, taxes, and Anthony Davis being injured.
We've been saying that for years.
Goodness gracious, man. Imagine trading for him.
Hey, we could talk about that for hours, but okay, there's a level to it, man. But like, Lauri Markkanen drives at the hoop, and you might be out for months and need surgery from your finger. I don't want to shame a player for getting hurt because, I mean, players get hurt, but it's constant. Finger injuries, eye injuries, groin injuries. It's the most unique injuries that I've ever seen from Anthony Davis. And at what point is it just play? Like, I can think of a guy last season who had a broken hand, and because he played, helped his team win a championship and is having sort of a down year now, goes by the name of Jalen Williams. Had a broken hand throughout the entire playoffs, and maybe it's not as bad of an injury, but you just love to hear that stories from athletes because they just want to compete. And with Anthony Davis, it's just like when he gets hurt, no, he will not be playing. He is out indefinitely. We don't know when he's coming back. He's talking to a hand specialist to know if he needs surgery.
It's like the difference between injury versus hurt. NFL players talk a lot about that. But I think you're right. It's the fact that the injuries are like everywhere. He's had eye injuries, head injuries, shoulder injuries, back problems, groin issues, hamstring, calf, feet, hands. Like everything has been injured at this point. I don't know how that guy's going to walk in 20 years.
Never ends. The game he came back, his first game with the Mavericks, groin injury. It never ends. I just want to see AD play. That's why I'm angry. I'm not angry because you're hurt, AD. I'm angry because I want to see a healthy Mavericks team. I think you deserve it. I think the Mavericks organization deserves it. And I hate that you're not playing.
Well, and there were rumors he was on the trade. He was on the trade block. That there were teams that were trying to pick him up. Now that he's out, if he goes for surgery,
now the hand's hurt.
Can't get traded.
Oh, he's out for at least a month. Oh, when is the trade?
Now it's getting interesting. Hey, we're going to sit LaMelo. We don't want to play him. He's hurt.
It's rest. It's rest time for everybody.
Going to hurt his averages.
Hamstring injury. There's no easy injury. There's no easier injury than his hamstring is tight.
Ooh, yeah, no, of course, for sure. Now, speaking of a team that's tight, the Knicks have lost 5 of 7 since the NBA Cup. It is the newest curse since the Madden curse. If you win the NBA Cup, you are going to lose significant games in the regular season. The Knicks have lost 5 of 7. Cat has struggled a little bit offensively. Josh Hart's been out of the lineup. I personally I wouldn't read into this at all if I'm a Knicks fan. I think this is just a slump in the season. We've talked about this before. A lot of teams had really, really difficult January schedules, particularly. There were a lot of tough matchups that were for top teams going into January, and they had a light December. Are you concerned at all about the Knicks?
Not concerned. It's just, I think this is a good time to have your losing spell if you're a team dealing with injuries. I think Josh Hart is their connector. He's their guy he's their glue to everything. Like, he's going to make up for any mistakes that happen on the defensive end. He's probably going to make up for mistakes that happens on the offensive end as well. Cat's going through his offensive struggles. JB is still putting up his numbers, but losses are going to come to any team. We see it with OKC. Still probably the greatest team that we've seen in recent history, according to the numbers, but 7-6 in their last few games. So I think it's just a random section of losses for a team that's going to end up with a 50-win record. So I think that's exactly right. We can't read into it too much, but it's just interesting that it is happening right now.
Look, they're still the 2 seed. Like, I know they're like a half game right now ahead of the Celtics, and I think a game and a half up on the Raptors. But like, you're still the 2 seed on a backslide. Means you will easily go on a stretch of 6 or 7 wins. You'll be right back to solid second place position. I'm not concerned with the Knicks.
Yep.
Okay, Roman, we're going to end the podcast with a series of start bench cuts. I want to put you through a little bit of a gauntlet. We'll go back and forth on this. So, Roman, start bench cut. John Morant, Trey Young, LaMelo Ball.
Am I starting a franchise, or are we talking like just
Prime player? You have a franchise today. You could trade for any of these guys.
start John Morant, bench Trey Young, cut LaMelo Ball?
Cool. Okay. Start bench cut. Scotty Pippen, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so prime player of all 3 of these guys. Who is the best out of these 3 in their prime? So I got 2019 Kawhi Leonard. I've got, let's say, 2016, 2017 Kevin Durant. And I've got I'll take 95, 96. No, I'll take 97, 98 Scottie Pippen.
Oh, interesting choice, but okay.
What, you want me to take 93 Pippen?
Probably because you're getting backspasm Pippen if you go 97.
That's true. Okay, I'll go 93. I hate this.
This is impossible. Yeah, good luck.
I'm starting Kevin Durant. Benching Kawhi Leonard, cutting Scottie Pippen.
Ooh.
Kevin Durant is the better talent out of all 3 of these people. So I'm starting him, obviously.
Okay.
And then I think of the 2019 run from Kawhi Leonard. I've seen him lead a team and win. I know there was injuries, of course, to that 2019 team, but in a playoffs, there's nobody who has scored more points in a single playoff run than Kawhi Leonard, than LeBron James and Michael Jordan. That 2019 run is historic. Kawhi Leonard has won Defensive Player of the Year. He can score the ball. We know this. So that's why I'm going to cut Pippen, because I know the player he is, but I also have seen him on his own and not do anything with it. Staying on the Kawhi train, we're going to do in their prime, start bench cut. Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, Paul George.
Start Kawhi, bench Paul George, cut Jimmy Butler.
Okay. Next one, I have sort of older picks. We have Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter.
Start Tracy McGrady, bench Grant Hill, cut Vince Carter.
Okay, Mo.
Listen, I'm biased. I'm a T-Mac fan. T-Mac's one of my favorite players all time. So that's pure bias for me, but that's my pick.
The Grant and Vince one gets me. That's what's getting me. I can't believe you just cut Vince Carter over Grant.
Oh, bro, come on. Prime Grant Hill was a problem.
I know it was a problem, but we're talking about Vince.
No.
One of the greatest three-point shooters of all time, one of the greatest dunkers of all time, has been to multiple finals, never got to the promised land, but we'll see what people say.
I stand by what I said.
Okay. I guess Prime Grant Hill was supposed to be, early on, he was supposed to be the next Jordan. Like, nobody was doing what he was doing.
Carter was supposed to be the next Jordan, too. Both those guys were supposed to be the next Jordan.
And one of them didn't get hurt. That's all I got to say to you. Last one. Interesting one. Marcus Smart, Patrick Beverley, and Tony Allen. Come on. Give me the guards. Give me the defensive guards. Who you got, Mo?
You know what? I'm going to start Tony Allen because I'm not here for the flopping. I'll put Marcus Smart on the bench, and I'll cut Patrick Beverley. I actually feel pretty good about that.
Okay. Just know that you get no scoring from Tony Allen.
I know. No buckets at all. None.
Pat Bev's still going to get you some buckets.
He's going to be flopping just like Marcus.
I like it.
I don't want a guy. Listen, I don't want to put Pat on my team. Pat injures players. I'm not trying to put a guy on my team that injures players. He's diving at people's knees, diving at people's ankles. He ruined a LeBron run. He took Russell Westbrook out. I'm not putting that guy on my team now. What are we doing?
Okay. It's a person.
Stand on it. Stand on it. Okay, I want one more for you. Start, bench, cut, injured player edition. Grant Hill, Penny Hardaway, Brandon Roy.
This is all just based on potential, bro. This is why it's so difficult.
No, listen, your criteria is your criteria. I'm just giving you the names.
You put me in a rough situation.
I don't feel bad about it.
Okay,
You deserve this.
Okay. All right. I'm going to... Oh, you made this a lot more difficult.
Yeah, you are cooked, my brother.
I will try to give a little explanation and small explanation for each.
Okay.
I'm going to start Grant Hill. Short prime, but I think he has the best prime out of these three, and it lasts a little bit longer.
Okay.
I'm going to bench Penny because he has an extremely short prime, but it is a very high prime. Like, prime Penny is very good, but it's a little bit shorter. And then Brandon Roy, we only get about 7-8 years of a career, so I'm going to cut him. So I'm going to start Grant Hill, I'm going to bench Penny Hardaway, and I'm going to cut Brandon Roy.
Okay. Now, here's the one I had that was actually impossible.
Okay.
Bill Walton, Yao Ming, Ralph Sampson. On potential.
Oh.
This is impossible. That's
on potential. I like Ralph. I'm going to start Ralph. I'm going to bench. No, this is impossible.
It's so hard.
I think I start Ralph because the dude was so tall but could move. If he doesn't get hurt, he truly might go down as one of the best centers of all time.
Yeah.
But Bill Walton, super short prime, and he's known as like one of the best leaders that a team has ever seen. He even gets a championship, but it's just...
He's like one of the only players to win MVP playing less than 65 games. Yeah. And on a full season. I think he's the only player to win MVP with less than 65 games on a full season.
Yeah. Like
finals MVP with the short prime. And then you look at his college days too. Bro, this guy was a problem.
He beats, I'm pretty sure in the finals, that was the year he beat Dr. J in his prime. Like,
he's a problem.
He was no joke.
Yeah.
And can you name any player that Bill Walton played with on those Trailblazer teams? No. It's incredible what he did. But then Yao Ming, I mean, the footwork from the 7'5" guy.
And then
are we kidding?
Injuries. Yeah.
Okay.
It's so
based
hard.
on potential.
Straight up potential.
Bill Walton gets one. So if he doesn't get hurt, I'm just imagining what he could have done.
Okay.
So I was saying Ralph before, but I think I'm going to start him, bench Ralph, and cut Yao.
Okay. All right. It's a tough one.
Yeah. What would you have gone?
Probably the same. I don't think you can cut Bill based on what you already have in front of you. Like, he showed you what his prime is capable of by winning a title. And
we never get to see it with Ralph. Yo, he averaged 21 as a rookie. Ralph averaged 21, 11, and 2. 2.5 blocks. That just hurts because his first 2 years are so good, and then it just goes downhill. But, man, if he could have stayed healthy, could you imagine the duo that could have been created? Like, we know what David Robinson and Tim Duncan did. Could you imagine if we had gotten Hakeem and Ralph together? If you don't have the bad years in Houston with Ralph, you don't get Hakeem.
No, but all it takes is one bad year to get a draft pick, man.
It's true. Could you imagine that Twin Tower duo?
Oh, my gosh, bro.
Hakeem's able to run the 4?
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't even know. I can't picture that. I can't picture it in my mind.
So many what ifs in the NBA. I love it.
There's so many we don't even talk about. Listen, great episode. Great episode. Hopefully, all of you got to enjoy it just as much as we did. Listen, if you have something you want us to discuss, please send us an email, swishlistpod@gmail.com. Let us know. Send us a DM on social media. We would love to cover what it is that you want to hear. We had so much fun covering the NBA with you. This is Season 3, Episode 12. Roman, send us off.
Season 3, Episode 12 of the Swish List Podcast. We're on all your favorite platforms, like Moses mentioned. If you're not following, if you're not subscribing, if you're not liking, It's getting ridiculous. At this point, like I said before, it's 2026. It's really getting ridiculous. Show us some love. We're creating great content over here, so show us some love. Season 3, Episode 12, Swish List Podcast. We are out.